Buy OTC Tax Deeds Here, no BS edition. In fact, we even found a secret church that's available for just $100 through OTC Tax Deeds. So one of the biggest lies in real estate is people think you need hundreds of thousands of dollars to crack into the investment game. But the cool world of OTC Tax Deeds is where you can buy properties that didn't sell at a government tax deed auction. And what happens is folks like yourself can go in and literally buy these things. It's called over the counter. So sometimes you physically stroll into the county counter, ask them for the lists of property, and then you can sort through them and buy them without going to the auction, without having to bid them up, without having to pay a mortgage, and sometimes without even traveling. So this is a great way to get into real estate. And today we're going to show you 3 hot picks where you can be finding some OTC tax deeds very quickly. We're going to boil it down so you don't have to go through all the research here. We're going to do it all for you. And this is perfect for you. You know, maybe you got 10 to 50K set aside. And you want to actually do some real estate, get into some deals and double or triple your money. These are great ways to actually make some real money in real estate if you know what you're doing. So, you know, one of the big questions is if this works so good, why isn't everybody doing it? We'll answer that here today. But if it's your first time tuning in, it's Dustin Hahn here, and this channel is dedicated to helping you buy tax lien and deed properties at auctions and over-the-counter real estate. So I think we have over like 3,500 videos on the channel. Our site, Tax Lien School, has interactive videos, maps, and everybody that logs in, we always give away a free book called The ABCs of Tax Liens and Deeds to help you get going. So stick around to the third one, because we're going to show you a place you probably wouldn't think to go for some of these properties. And once again, it doesn't matter where you are. This stuff can be done remotely from home, which is absolutely awesome when it comes to getting into real estate, because everything's getting expensive these days. And a lot of people, you know, maybe they're worried about their retirement. Maybe their back's hurting from the manual work they've been doing. And real estate's one of the answers to be able to help you as we get older to set up retirement. So I'm going to bring in the guys here right now, and we're going to dive in and just go to the locations of these properties. So Mr. Corey Chason, Josh Blanchard, how you guys doing?
Hey,
hello.
Dustin. Good.
Hello.
Great. So Josh, let's go right to it and start showing some of the locations for you guys here. You can follow along at home as far as some of these locations and put them on your map and on your radar if you're wanting to get into real estate and scoop up some deals. Tax deeds are a great way to get started. So Josh, we're going to start with number 1, and let's go over to the great state of Texas, which just had their property auction today. So Texas is the first Tuesday of every month. They are a tax deed state, and tons of opportunity in Texas if you know what you're looking for. We've gone to hundreds of these auctions there, and let's take a look at what's possible in Texas. You know, maybe you're in a high price market and you want to do some stuff in Texas. We don't discriminate against location. We like profit margins. So Josh, we'll share your screen here and show these guys how to find some Texas action. I will bring this up, and there we go.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so there's a few different ways that you can approach Texas. And so it is the first Tuesday of every month, and there are so many different counties in the state of Texas. So you got a lot of different options, which is great. And so you'll notice here, there are a lot of different sales. Today, Georgia also does the same thing. So if I wanted to just look at this, oh yeah, there we go. Let's get back here. So there's 71 auctions happening that we've got here on the Vault. And as I start scrolling through, there's like Dallas County, for instance, redeemable deed auction. Then you got Cottle County, Texas, Lavaca County, Texas. So there's a whole bunch going on here. And so the way that it works is if a property does not sell at the auction, it will come back usually in the form of a resale. And so what happens if it doesn't get bought at the second time or the third time, they'll lower the opening bid down to about $1,500 just to try to cycle it. And so in those particular counties where they have resale properties, you're not going to be able to get OTCs. You're not going to be able to get them because they just come back at the auction. But what you're looking for are counties in Texas that don't follow that pattern, that do something different. And that's how you can find some really, really good deals, because the whole state like for most counties, they do follow a system, which is resale, but not everybody does that. And so they call it struck off first. So struck off meaning that now it's held by the county, and then resale is how it comes back. And so the word that you're looking for, or how you want to go ahead and search for this, is type the word trust sale properties, Texas. And so these are going to be places that don't follow the norm, that don't follow the struck off slash resale system that the rest of the state follows. And so here is an example. You've got Tom Green County in Texas. So they do tax properties and trustee sales. So those are properties that have been struck off, and then they go ahead and they sell them. Here's Fayette County in Texas as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll click on that one for you. So trust properties offered for sale. These are properties that are county held that you can go ahead and make an offer through a sealed bid process. And so, yeah, not every county is going to do this, but there are enough counties in Texas that do follow this process where you can go ahead and get some really good deals. So I see they've got one currently here, but you could always give them a call. You could use our directory that we have available to go ahead and call the county. So here's the city of Crosbyton as well. Trust properties, they have them for sale. And yeah, they've just foreclosed on them themselves. And so this is different from, say, Harris County, where if nobody bids on it, it becomes struck off, and then it comes back at a lower bid. So that's the secret word that you want to use. Now, here's the other thing, is that when we do this on Google, if we type trust sale properties, we see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess we got Burnett as well, 9, maybe Williamston, 10. So there's a lot of counties in Texas, and not every county is going to have any, they're not going to have information online available. And so that's where you want to go ahead, use the tax sale directory that we offer you to go ahead and call any counties that you cannot find here. Because the opportunities for some of these counties that don't have any like blueprint online, or they don't have any presence online, there could be a lot of inventory sitting there. And so anything you don't find for trust sale properties, you want to give them a call. And the second thing that I would say is that most of these auctions that you'll see that are virtual in Texas are going to be on realauction.com. And so if you're doing an online tax sale in Texas, it's probably going to be on this website. So here's how you can go ahead and you can actually kind of put yourself in a position where you're looking for the most profitable opportunities. So what I did is I just went ahead and I selected Texas. I created a Texas filter. So there's 24 counties that do online auctions on realauction.com. And so all of the other counties that you don't see here that don't have an online presence, those could also be counties that you call. And so like all of these counties, yeah, they're online. And so they have a presence. And so a lot of people, they know about these sales already, like Dallas County, for instance. But all of the counties that don't use realauction.com, all of the counties that do in-person sales, they could also have really good opportunities. So here is like Lavaca, for instance. This is at the county courthouse. And if it's a county courthouse and it's in person, they may, and if they also don't follow the struck off slash resale system, then they could have some really good OTC opportunities. So you'd want to go ahead, use our directory, give them a call, or you could just come to the vault.taxlienschool.com. Give them a call and ask them if they have any properties that did not sell, and if they're available for purchase, or if you can go ahead and you can make an offer. Because again, some of these, or most of them, will follow the resale, so they just come back at a discount. But not everybody follows that system or that pattern. And looks like we actually have got the property address here and a link. So yeah, either use the directory that we have for free, or come into the vault and then go ahead and give them a call and ask them what opportunities they have, because that's how you're going to be able to find property for 10 cents on the dollar or less. But yeah, that is Texas.
Excellent. And for everybody here, we always give away the directory. So the easiest thing to do is just call up the county, ask them, when is the auction? What happened to the properties that didn't sell at the auction? And then how do I get the list? So below the video, we always give away this directory, which has every single phone number for all of the counties. So it has the website and the phone number. So this is for free in the description below. So you guys can grab that. And then it always comes with the ABCs of tax lien and deed investing as well, which has all of the forms to walk you guys through tax lien and deed investing step by step. So if you pair those two up, you'll be in good shape. And that is always in the description below the video as well. So as the stream is filling up here, guys, let us know who's tuning in. Let us know what city you're in, what state, and what questions you have. And we'll be happy to answer any tax lien and deed questions that you have here as well. And away we go. So good stuff. Who do we have here today? Let's see. You went to the auction this morning in Cobb County, Georgia. That's great. So how did it go? What we love about the live streams here, we always have folks hopping on who are in the middle of deals and going to auctions. So this stuff is the real deal. So yeah, oh, I just saw a notice here. It's different lives. This is how you know it's live, guys. One of our notices came up. It just says comments can't go to some destinations, Corey. So YouTube, I think, is working. So let us know how'd the auction go? How many did you bid on? What did you learn? And then for everybody else here, let us know what questions you have and where you're located, because we often tailor the stream based on who is tuning in. And then once again, for the YouTube algorithm, we're going to be showing some properties, some county records, and everything that we show is 100% public record for the YouTube algorithm here. And we put this thing on the screen, this little banner to show YouTube that, hey, this is public information, because sometimes people think we are exposing deep, information or private information. Everything is public record here. So we're not exposing anybody's things that public record can't reveal. I'm just figuring out a bunch of buttons here. So I'm like showing the banner, but then we have a new setup here. Let's see. We got someone from Chicago. Appreciate it. We got Ralph from Germany here. Always good to see you. Let's see. So live from the trenches, most of the properties got redeemed at the auction. They only had one property for the sale. The winning bid was $210K on a $250K home. So, you know, that's a great insight, right? Because sometimes, and one of the biggest mistakes that happens is people just expect to get a home run at their first sale. Now, not to say that can't happen. For myself, when I got into this, I got a property 2 days after learning about it. And one of the most important things with this stuff is to take action, right? Find the auctions, get the directories, and start going through these properties, because the faster you take action, the quicker it's going to go. We know that our average viewer these days is, over the age of 40. They're worried about retirement. Maybe their body's getting sore from their job. They don't want to be a burden to their kids. And this is why real estate can be such a great solution. And this is why we believe tax liens and deeds are a great starting point. So now when you go to these auctions, sometimes things might not even get bid on at all. Sometimes they might get bid up close to market value. Sometimes they might not. You have to show up in order to do it. And the other thing is, like, what's the alternative, right? Most people are paying full market value or feeling like real estate is just kind of out of their reach because maybe they only have 10, 20, 30,000 bucks, and maybe they can't get a mortgage or financing for something for a couple $100,000. And this is why the world of over-the-counter tax deeds can be a great starting point for you as well. Let's see. We got South Florida here. Good to see you. Cindy from Oklahoma. Let's see. Yeah, OCD from Oklahoma. OC, more things on Oklahoma. OTCs, OCD. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but I definitely have OCD with tax liens and deeds and many things in life. As Corey would know firsthand. What's happening in Kentucky? Great. So now, if you guys like this, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Like I say, for everybody that tunes in, we give away this book in the description below. Or if you want some hand-holding help, we can just show you where these properties are in your area and build you a custom blueprint. So it is a tax deed freedom blueprint call. You can book it. It's free. We'll just show you where to go. That's in the description as well. So let's move on to our second pick here today as we're going through two hot picks. So second place, over the counters, right while Josh is taking a drink. Go.
Fantastic. All right. So the second one we're going to show you is actually a tax lien state that is often overlooked. And this place has actually got a lot of inventory available right now that you can go ahead and purchase. So what we're looking at is Maryland. And so I'm on the vault again, vault.taxlienschool.com. And so if I click Maryland, what you're going to see is the redemption period is actually really quick in this state. So it's 6 months. So this is a bit different than a tax deed state. So in Texas, what happens? You go to the auction, you win a property, and then you get the deed. So you become the owner right away. And then over the counter, same thing. You buy it from the county and you get the deed right away. So you become the owner. And so this is a little bit different where Maryland is a tax lien state. And so what you're doing is you're essentially buying a piece of paper. And if they don't pay you the taxes back, so you pay the taxes for them, you get this piece of paper. If they don't pay you back with interest, you have the right to foreclose on the property. So it's essentially giving you, you're paying for the taxes, you're getting interest, and you have the right to foreclose, in 6 months from the time of the sale. And so because they have a lot of over-the-counter inventory, chances are the 6-month redemption period has actually already expired. And so there's a lot of tax liens that are available right now that you can go ahead, you can buy them and start the foreclosure process right away. So a little bit different. There's a little bit more barrier to entry, but think about it. You're getting this for the back taxes and a little bit of interest and penalties. So you're going to be acquiring property with a ton of equity in it versus, an auction where you're going to go, you could be bidding it up, things like that. But in this case, you can get it for the back taxes. So 6-month redemption period, very short, very quick. And here's just an example. So you have Cecil County owned properties. And so some of these numbers are upside down. And then other times you actually have a really good margin. There's a lot of equity here. So an example would be 717 Telegraph Road. They're looking for 20, worth 108. Or they're looking for $6,000 for 0 Bainbridge Road. And they got an assessed value of $50,000. Or, what else we got here? We got 15 grand on $98,000. And so this stuff is, like 10 cents on the dollar below, like 3 grand, $3,800 on 24,000. We like that a lot. That could be a piece of land. It might be a house there. And then sometimes it's actually the inverse where they're looking for $52,000, but it has a county assessed of 13. Zero Valley Road, looking for less than $1,000. It has an assessed value of 14 grand. So these are really, really good margins. And so you can get into this business with fairly low risk. And so what you would do is you would acquire these and then you could start the foreclosure process most likely right away because their sales are coming up. So these would at least be a year old. And so there's really juicy spreads here. And this is a place that people often overlook. And so on YouTube, we also do posts. We post upcoming auctions. So we've got a few that are happening in May. So we've got Queen Anne's County, which we've seen good OTCs there before. We've also got Calvert County, and then we've got Kent County in Maryland. And so they've got a ton of liens, 215 liens here, 312 there, and then 254. And so remember, the redemption period is very quick. And so if the homeowner does not pay you back pretty much, immediately, you could go ahead and you could start the foreclosure process. And so we have the websites in the vault. If you're not looking at our posts on YouTube, you're missing out. So make sure you click subscribe. That way you can see these auctions. But the auction's going to happen. And if you wanted to simply avoid bidding, the easy way, the easy process, or the easy system is just to be keeping track of these auctions, which you can do with our calendar on vault.taxlienschool.com. And then after the auction, you could be giving them a call quickly. You could be getting ahead of it so that once the OTCs are available, you can go ahead and you can pick them up right away. Because if we go ahead and if we go into Google and we type like Maryland over-the-counter tax liens, you're going to be able to find them, but everybody else can find them as well. And so here we've got Worcester County. We got some over-the-counter tax liens. These ones we still have good numbers. So 21,000 on 85, $1,000 on 13.7, but these are from May 16th, 2025. So that's almost a year, right? We're almost up on a year. So they've probably been cherry picked, right? And what you can do instead is, yeah, be logging this information, keeping track of it. Once the auction happens, you can get on the phone right away, ask them what they didn't sell, and then pick those up before anybody else. Because even a year later, we can still see properties that have a lot of upside, a lot of potential. This is you could 13x your money on this $1,000, depending on what it is. We're not sure if it's profitable, but from a numbers perspective, it looks good. But yeah, use the vault, use the resources that we've given you, because you could go ahead and you can stay on top of the OTCs. But yeah, Maryland is fantastic. The only thing I would say is that tax liens in Maryland have a very short lifespan. So that means if you buy an OTC in Maryland, you've got to start the foreclosure process right away. Otherwise, your tax lien could actually expire, it won't be valid anymore, and it would simply be like you paid the taxes on somebody else's behalf. So just be very careful with that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good insider tip, because just as important of getting a good deal is avoiding rookie mistakes. So, you don't want to just pay someone else's taxes and make that mistake. Another mistake is you obviously don't want to buy the wrong property or do poor research, which is why it's important when you guys are looking at this. You always want to make sure to be checking for kind of some bad things on title, which could be maybe there's a whole bunch of outstanding code violations or municipal liens on the property. Also check for, environmental hazards and things like that, especially if it was a commercial business like a laundromat, auto body, service station, stuff like that can look very appealing, but can be very, very bad. So appreciate everybody tuning in, asking some questions. Somebody's saying they got the course 2 years ago, can't access. We got Corey here. You can email, is it hello@taxlienschool.com, Corey? Great.
Yeah,
Hello,
that's the one.
taxlienschool.com would be great. And then, one of the things that comes up, so obviously everybody's going to be on their own journey when it comes to tax lien and deed investing, and your timeline is going to vary based on how much action that you're going to take. So some of you guys might get a deal. You could buy an OTC today. Some of you, maybe if you call the county, maybe you crack open this directory somewhere on the West Coast, they have a list, you could have time to go in, pick it up. Depends on where you are. Now, more realistic is the fact that you might do some research and you might go to your first auction and maybe everything gets redeemed. Maybe everything gets bid up. And the reason I bring this up is, you had a crazy auction here today. There were 100 people bidding on that single property, which is nuts. So one of the big ways to avoid blowouts is to call before you go and ask the county, hey, how many properties auctioned last year? Okay, there were 5. How many people were there? There were 100 people there. And then get the prices, because you can avoid a lot of pain just by kind of asking those questions. Now, where this does make sense, though, is like if this is your own county, it's your own backyard. If it's competitive and there's 100 people there bidding and they're bidding it up, that's great. Get their business card, because these guys are paying top dollar for auction properties, which often aren't, they need some, I was going to say they often aren't the most beautiful property, and that's good because that's where we make our profit margin. So it's funny because some folks will say, oh, everything got bid up to market value. And I'm like, that's awesome. Did you get their contact information? Because now all you need to do is find a crappy property, get it under contract, and you can go and have them buy it and make an assignment fee. So you have to really work both sides and always be asking in real estate, how do I make money on this property? You have to constantly be thinking that, because one of our sayings is that easy equals generally a waste of time. So to be honest, tax liens and deeds sometimes aren't that glamorous. It's not one of these fancy house flipping shows. You have to dig through county records, put in a little elbow grease. You have to call the county and just do some good old fashioned work is what it takes. And sometimes that's not glamorous. In the short term, it's not glamorous, but if you don't do anything and you just, depending on the path you're on, if you're tired of your job or your body's sore, if things are just maybe not painful enough, that's kind of gaslighting. Next thing you know, you're 60, 70 years old, you don't have a retirement, and things get really bad. So it's way better to do a little bit of boring old tax liens and deeds now and get that momentum going. And then from there, this can open up opportunities into other avenues of real estate, or maybe you want to double down on this as well. So it can really open up a lot of options for yourself getting into this. So obviously, we can't make promises or guarantees, but what I can promise you is that if you don't do anything, you're not going to learn, you're not going to get any properties. So you have to learn to go to some of these sales and be okay with things getting bid up. And remember, there are 3,300 counties in these directions here. And there's a lot of opportunity if you stick with it. So we're going to now bounce over to our third pick of the day for some places maybe where you would not expect to find some over-the-counter tax deeds. And guys, if you like this, do us a favor, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. If you're watching the replay, ask questions in the comments. We are here to help as well. And remember, everybody can get the book below in the description to take some massive action here. So Josh, let's bring in third.
Okay, the third OTC state that we recommend is Michigan. And so we're giving you this with enough time in advance so you can get this on your radar, you can start to plan, and you can start to prepare. So they do happen annually between July and November. So it's May 5th right now. You've got some time to get into the mix. Now, this is something very interesting about Michigan, is that last year we were talking about Michigan, and people would write in and they would say, hey, I was bidding and everything was too competitive and stuff sold, well, like beyond market value, or, we weren't able to get deals, right? And so they check out. And so being in this space now for, well over a decade, we're able to kind of see the cycles from beginning to end, and then see opportunities that, someone else may have missed on. And so one of the interesting things about Michigan is that there are often, every year it attracts people who don't have experience in the space. And what happens is, sometimes people think that they may be eligible for funding, or they get into a bidding war and bid beyond what they actually even have, or they're potentially, bidding with capital that isn't secured. Maybe a friend said, hey, I'll go in splits with you and I can give you $20,000, or like a family member, but they don't actually have the money within their possession. Then something changes and they're not actually able to complete the transaction. And so we see this all of the time at tax sales, and specifically in Michigan. And so let me show you this because it's quite fascinating. So this is taxsale.info. And what happens is they begin, July. And so I'll show you last year, and we can kind of look at the chain of events here. So if we go to 2025, and the very first run at this, so it looks like last year it started August 1st. The very first run, what they're trying to do is recoup the tax dollars. They're trying to get the tax payments back with interest and penalties. And so that's what the opening bid is. It's the back taxes, interest, penalties, lawyer fees, title searches, things like that. So that's what they're trying to do. Now, if it doesn't sell at this auction, because sometimes properties are underwater, maybe something is worth $5,000, the opening bid is $5,000, there's just no equity there. And if those properties don't sell, then they will come back later. But at the same time, what we mentioned earlier was about people not being able to fulfill their obligation to pay for something that they win, or somebody not reading the rules well and not being able to pay. That property will show up as sold here at the first auction, but then it may come back at the very end, which we see this all of the time. And so as we scroll down, these are the first go arounds. This is the first time it goes to auction. And then from there, there's a second auction, which happens September 26th. And so at this reoffer, this is where you'll see it come back again at a lower price. Now, this is what's trippy, is that then after that, they have a no reserve, which is $100. And so we've seen properties sell previously, then they come back at the no reserve auction because somebody didn't actually fulfill and pay for the property. And so someone may be at a previous auction here, say it's all too competitive. They'll see what stuff gets bid up for, where they just picked a particularly competitive county, and then not actually come back at the end. And so let me just show you some pretty wild examples. Here we go. So here's Berrien. This is a no reserve. So we're seeing houses sell for like $1,100. We're seeing land, 0.26 acres, sell for $850. We're seeing a property sell for $150. Mind you, yes, this one is condemned. So we're not saying that, this is a great deal or that we recommend it or not, but we are seeing properties get through to the finish line, and you could pick them up for legit less than $1,000, a couple $1,000. So I wanted to show you a church that is actually available right now for $100, which is also pretty crazy. Here we go. So you can see on the left, it says what it actually sold for, and this looks like um, almost like a motel or something for 14 grand. But yeah, here's a church here in Battle Creek, Michigan. Minimum bid is $100. So you'll notice how it's not green, didn't sell. So they actually have this in inventory right now, and you could go ahead and you could pick it up for $100, which is wild. Here's another commercial building sold for $750. And so these made it through, and they probably, I would say most likely, they would have sold before, and then somebody didn't actually pay for it, because a lot of people said, yeah, there was no houses. I couldn't get anything for a discount. And here we go. Some more stuff. Yeah, another house, like 10 grand in excellent shape. So all of this stuff sold at the very last sale. And then you've got things that are available right now. So $350 for this vacant parcel, $350 here for a vacant parcel. Looks like it's actually between two houses, not landlocked. It's not in a regular shape. This is the exact kind of thing that you want to buy, especially for your first deal. Mind you, you still want to be able to do a title search and things like that. But yeah, here's just county after county of an example of property selling at a huge discount. Here's 1.3 acres, vacant parcel, $100, didn't sell. Mind you, maybe it didn't sell because there's like something crazy going on, but we don't know. And so there could be a really good untapped opportunity here. Houses selling for $150, very wild. And so if you don't stay, or if you don't know to stay to the end, you would miss these opportunities because people are picking up properties for absolute wild prices. Here's a half a duplex for $450. Mind you, yeah, we don't know what's going on with the duplex. We didn't drive it, but looks like a steal when we just look at it at face value. Then here's Saginaw. Again, house is selling for a few $1,000s. Here's an abandoned home, sold for $2,200. Single story with garage, $4,000. Yeah, so they're saying it's got an assessed value. Their assessed value is about half of the value. So we could say it's more like 50 grand. And so this one sold, what was that? Yeah, $2,200, worth $50,000. And so crazy, right? Absolutely crazy, because that is most likely going to be worth it, I would say. So this one's coming up this year. So you've got time to prepare, but you don't want to just go to one sale here and then say, okay, you know what, it doesn't work, and then check out, because there were opportunities. We could see people getting good deals. And then still there is stuff that did not sell at all, like the church, $100, the 1.6 acres, $100. So there's opportunities to come and do due diligence, take it through the process. Yeah, here's 0.12 acres, $100, hasn't sold. So it's all sitting there. There's a lot of opportunity in this space.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. It's the most important time of our time together here today, and that is time to take action. So from here, guys, to get started, I would call the county right now. Super important. So to do that, you can grab the deed directory. It's in the description below. Just crack it open to the area you're interested in. Call them up, ask for the list, and see when the auction is. And then from there, we have the instructions for you here in the ABCs. This is all in the directions below. And then from there, if you want our help just finding some of these that fit your budget, you can schedule a call, and we'd be happy to help you and give you some hand-holding advice as well. So regardless, take some action. We appreciate everybody hopping on here today, and we'll be back Thursday with some fresh stuff. Instagram, we are scrolling to you guys or streaming to you guys as well. So warm welcome, and we shall see you on the next live stream. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you soon.
See everybody.